Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second half here of Drop Frames. We are going to be talking Elden Ring. And I don't know how we're going to handle spoils for this. I will say this. The best way to play this game is to go in and not know a single fucking thing. And I think even like, I laughed at people that are like, oh, the trailers are spoiling stuff. Trailers didn't really spoil that much. But had I not seen some of that stuff, I guess it would have been a lot cooler. But yeah, if you're at all planning on playing or you're a Dark Souls fan and you want to play Elden Ring, this is one of those times where I'd say stop watching the stream. I'm not going to show footage of it, I don't think. And probably just have us talk about it without footage. But yeah, we can also say without spoiling anything, probably play the PS5 version. I'm curious for you guys. I'm playing PC, but as I've told a bunch of people that ask like, hey, how's the PC work? I have the top of the line system. So it's not a reasonable thing for me to say like, oh yeah, it's running fine. Cause it's running fine for me, but I have a 3090 and like all that stupid stuff. Most people are having terrible issues with the PC version. Are all of you playing PC version or are you jumping on PS5?
I started on PC and then went over to my Xbox Series X for a bit.
Okay. Dan, you're doing
I'm playing
PC?
it mostly on my Xbox Series X.
Okay. Zeke, what are you playing? PC?
Yeah, I played PC, or I'm playing PC, and I tried to, I actually downloaded it on my laptop, and it's not top of the line, but it's a decent laptop that's, only like a year old, and it did not fucking run like at all. Like it was awful. There's frame rate issues. There was like these little black squares that would pop up like everywhere. It was fucking terrible. Like it was unplayable.
Wow.
And then I put it on my bedroom PC, which is basically our Netflix machine. And I think I have a 980 in there, 980 Ti, whatever. And after tweaking some shit, I actually got it to run.
Steady 60?
But no, I think it actually was less than that somehow.
Wow. Okay.
It didn't seem as crisp and smooth as it is on my high class or high whatever gaming PC.
Right.
But I did get it to work is the thing. And I actually tried to see if it was on GeForce Now yet, so I could play it on my laptop.
Right.
So I could use their hard drive and processor for it, but no luck yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm stuck on my my spendy PC if I want to play Elden Ring.
How's the Xbox version, Kyle? Because I forgot that's even a thing. Most people are like, oh, I don't have a PS5, I can't play the game, and I was like, yeah, I guess you can't. But no, you can get an Xbox. Like, that's a console. How is it? Yeah. How's it performing on there?
It's playing fine. I mean, you throw it in performance mode, which I think even if I haven't played the PS5 version of it yet, but even so, I would, because of how frame sensitive a game like that is, I would put it in performance mode anyway.
Yeah,
and this feels fine to me. I mean, I need to go back on my good PC to like play it and see where it was. But even when I started, it seemed fine. But that was like on a press build as opposed to a final retail build. So I'll see once I update it and see where it's at. But yeah, it's been playing good. Playing fine.
And Dan, no issues at all in the PC version. I've had like some hitching, but very little.
Yeah, I'm playing on a PC with a 3080, and I haven't had any issues yet with some people are having like hitching and like frame drops and stuff. I have a couple spots that are a little framey, but other than that, it's been running fine for me.
Yeah, same. But hey, look, From Software and PC, it's always a little bit of a struggle for them.
Right? I remember the original Dark Souls port. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was just god awful, right? Like, what was who's the famous modder that fixed it? Starts with a D, doesn't it?
Yeah, he in less than a couple hours, he released a mod that fixed everything. It was like, what did they do on this?
Durante, that's who it was. It was Durante that had that.
Oh mod. Wow,
yep. Yeah, had it fixed everything. So I don't know what the culprit is. I don't know if Bandai said like what the culprit is. I know Ko, for example, has a 3090, pretty similar PC to me, and he was just having like full on hard freezes during boss fights. We're talking like 5 or 6 seconds of a freeze. I haven't encountered anything at all that bad. If anything, it's just been an FPS drop to like 50 or so for 5 or 6 seconds, and then bumps back up to 60, and we're good. Which seems to me like it's a loading thing. Like I'm crossing a threshold and it's loading whatever's in front of me. Don't know though. I'm not a game developer. I can't really speak too intelligently about it. I'm sure there's people that can on the internet and people that already have. So anyways, that all said, hey, this game's pretty good. I would wager, as a Dark Souls fan already, having only been 30 hours in it, it's probably one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm only 30 hours in. Like, I'm confident in saying that's probably one of my favorite games of all time at this point. It's absolutely insane. To tie it back into what I was talking about in regards to Horizon, it approaches the open world argument without telling the player that it's an open world game outright. It just says, here's a map, you can go do whatever you want. We're not going to give you a checklist of shit that you could do. You can just go do whatever you want. Doesn't tell you anything. And it's really weird how well that works in the age of open world games where it is a checklist. Like Horizon is a checklist. It has 7 cauldrons or 8 cauldrons or whatever. It's got, 10 of these activities. It's got 6 drones. I have no idea what this game has in terms of the numbers, and I like it that way, right? Like, it's refreshing to just play a game and have no idea what's in front of me. And I think,
I don't even know like how many things I've missed and places I think I've explored all the way. Like there's probably a nook or cranny I missed, and like there'll be a whole boss in there or something.
dude, it's crazy. It's straight crazy how much you can miss in this game. I went through the first like proper dungeon, and I went through it pretty easily, having done like 20 hours of outside of dungeon content. I went through there, and everyone in my chat was like, wait, did JP do this? Did JP see that? Did JP know you can go do that? And it's like, I don't know. You can do that? Like, I had no idea any of that was there. And so that, like, I went back through a second time with chat saying like, okay, jump on that, do this, go across there, fight that guy, get this thing. Oh, wow, that's really fucking cool.
And you see, honestly, that's what I'm doing. That's why it came down to like, do I stream it in a month or do I play it now and figure out something else? And that's honestly why I'm playing it on my own, doing all my, like, all the discovery I can, with the searching I want to do.
Yeah.
And then like playing it later with a completely different class. It'll be a completely different game. The discoveries won't be there, but it'll be a completely different game with a completely different class, but with the backseat open so they can tell me like, here's all the shit. Like here, yeah. Like yep. I'm excited to see what all I missed because, just because of the little discoveries that you make hints at how much there could be there. Like this little tiny little doorway. And you're like, I could have easily fucking missed that. How many of those I've already missed?
You're so 100% correct in that. There are doors in this game that lead to like some of the coolest fucking shit I've ever seen in a game, and I would have missed it had I not been just like walking around a corner. Or it's crazy how they've done that. One big tip that I will say, if you're doing a lot of exploration, slight spoiler in terms of items that you can equip. You can get a lantern, and it goes on your hip. You don't have to have a torch out.
Oh, man.
And it's fucking incredible.
That's huge.
So
That's
good.
huge.
I just walk around with this little
30
lantern.
hours to find the lantern.
Yeah.
30 hours.
Yeah, it's on. I'm not gonna say where it's at. It's like one of the greatest things I've looted. But it's like, oh, a lantern. Wow.
That one
I saw somebody else playing.
And I might just allow myself to be spoiled for that because that's a utility thing that just makes everything so much easier.
Well, and I was talking, so to roll it back, I think on Wednesday, everyone is like, okay, what are these reviews going to be like? Like, how is this game? Are we going to get like a cyberpunk? Like, are we about to get cyberpunked? How's this going to go down? And everyone woke up Wednesday, and I'm still kind of shocked at the reviews. Like, it is one of the best rated games of all time. People ranted and raved, and I was like, okay, there's no way this game is this good. I played for like 15 hours first day. I was like, okay, it's Dark Souls, right? It's Dark Souls.
Mhm.
It's cool. Played for another 15 hours second day. I was like, okay, this is actually, maybe this is kind of cool. This is maybe a little bit special. Yesterday, I finally had the epiphany of like, okay, this is actually like, this is an important game. This is one of the biggest games that I've ever played.
Mhm.
This is a remarkable game. So I get all the reviews. I think partially also why the reviews were so strong is the game, and I want to be very clear, the game is not accessible. The game is approachable. And so people that were that had been like shied away or stopped playing the other games because they were so fucking hard, this game basically says, yeah, it's hard, but there's a billion other things you can go and do right now. So go do those other things and come back to it being difficult, because it's not going to be that difficult. And
I'm here to tell you, there's no shame. Don't be ashamed of that. Do not let
Dude,
yourself
I even
like
do that.
go to an area and like, why can't I do? Just stop,
Yeah.
back up, go somewhere else for a little bit. And that once I got out of that mindset, I had such a better time with the game.
Yeah, that is a game changer. And I think it's why it reviewed so well, because everyone that had played a Dark Souls in the past got to a boss and was like, well, I don't want to fucking sit here and mash my head against this boss for 10 hours. Like, I'm done. Now they're like, I'm not going to mash my head against this boss for 3 attempts. I'm going to go another direction for 20 hours and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes all the difference in the world. It really, truly does. Because they're able to experience the Dark Souls experience.
Like playing a magic user class, which is what I'm doing, like I'm in a melee game.
Which I'm jealous of you, by the way. Having all the stuff that I
same.
found. Oh, dude.
It's,
I saw
no,
your...
no, I found some of the shit, but like, let me tell you, like the biggest thing about playing the astrologer, which is like the mage class, is you find other like items and spells and stuff like that, and they barely even live up to what you start with, and that's kind of like the disheartening thing. But
Man, okay.
getting back to the point before,
Yeah.
about like, you know, fighting a boss, like it feels like you go to a boss and I'm sitting there like lobbing spells at this guy, and it's like doing like, you know, like dink, 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 and you're like, in my head I'm like, I'm gonna go find another boss that appreciates my magic. Fuck you. Like, oh, I'm like, look it, I'm chunking this one down. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah. As someone who is playing, I'm primarily strength focused right now. The amount of caster stuff, and maybe it's just because of where I've been, probably is, the amount of caster stuff, far outweighs the amount of like physical stuff that I found. And we're talking like, you know, items that reduce the FP cost, items that like give you more FP regen, items that give
And
you
that's the
FP
thing.
crit or FP on crit. And you're like, what? Like, where is
But
all
that's
this
the
other
thing.
shit for me?
Depending on where you go.
Yeah.
It depends
Yep.
on where you go, because
Yeah.
I went probably where I wanted to go where you went.
Yeah.
And you probably want to go where I went, because I was just like, where the fuck? Mages get boned again, and I was just complaining and bitching about it.
Oh, I saw those
and then
tweets and I was
finally
like,
found an
"Man,
area.
he needs
I went to a completely different area, just started roaming around. I went, oh, this is where I should have gone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kyle, what type of character are you playing?
Samurai currently.
Okay.
Samurai class.
How's
is the
that
one
working
I
out for
started
you?
off with.
Pretty good.
It's good so far. I mean, I think the systems in this game, like, back up a quick step. For me, I was like not a big Soulsborne fan. I played a bunch of Bloodborne to try to get in that space, a couple of the older Souls games, but also felt like it was like one of those weird moments where you're like, all right, am I losing my ability to be good at games because I got old?
Right.
Is it like, do I feel like my eye-hand coordination isn't good? Is it that kind of stuff? And you're just like, no, the systems in here are just hard and unforgiving. This game, and you nailed it on the conversation about approachability, is the most approachable game I've seen within this lineage of games, because of all the small systems that they put in there that make players have the ability to stay in fights longer and stay in areas longer. Like, even just the small thing of like being able to kill a certain amount of enemies in an area and that refilling your flask.
Right.
is brilliant, is like such a huge thing, because you then start to play in a different way where you start to, everybody kind of farms for XP in that game, and you farm for runes a lot, but like you're farming for health too now, which is really, really smart. It like gives you so many ways to kind of think about that stuff. So, playing the samurai has been pretty sweet. Now that I'm starting to kind of mix and match a little bit of magic stuff in there now, that's being kind of helpful for certain fights. But man, this game is good. This is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. And it's weird because that conversation about like seeing all the folks rate this game so highly, a lot of folks in the press and we kind of do a little too cool for schoolness in our own circles, where we're like, well, we can't give that thing a 10. You can't give that thing a really high mark, because if you do that, then that's a weird credibility thing. And having seen so many people play it early, we played it, like I got my code like maybe 12 days before launch.
Which, by the way, fucked up. This is like a 100-hour plus game. There's kudos to the people that finished that game before review embargo came up. That's crazy.
Yo, they are. I don't know how they finished this game in that way. But again, like the thing I shared on Twitter was like, every review you see that went up at embargo is an unfinished review. If they finished it, but they didn't play it in the same way that you would want to play a game like this. So you really have I'll use the word tarnished version of like what what this experience potentially could have been, because of how big and broad this thing is.
Yeah.
But man, everything about this game just is all the stuff that we remember from Skyrim when Todd Howard got on a stage many, many years ago and did the whole spiel about, you see that mountain over there that you can go walk to? You can actually go walk to that thing. Like, this is the full culmination of all of that. Yeah. Right? It was like, go see a thing and go fight that thing in a real way.
And the other thing that is remarkable to me, and this is part of the discoverability, but it's important to what you just said. The game teases what exists by just showing you an inkling of something completely random, and then they take it away from you. And so you walk over to something happens, you find yourself in a strange land, and you're in awe of whatever is happening around you, but you can't access any of it except for a very small piece of that pie. And it's like those moments have been the best in the game for me, where I'll just be walking around, something happens, I find myself in an awe-inspiring area, and after I like pick my jaw up the ground, I'll go die to this thing near me, kill it eventually, and then it's like, okay, you're done here. Maybe you'll be back. I don't know. We'll see. And like, that is so fucking cool that they understand how to do that.
This is the scariest game I've ever played. I love horror games. I love, like, this is one of, like, this is one of the most terrifying, and this is going back to your thought about like open world and Horizon versus open world here, and how this game has like kind of changed the way you think about that. Like, all the other Souls games are very kind of compartmentalized, right? You're in a dungeon, you're in a space, you're moving throughout those things. But like, knowing, especially when you start and it starts to open up the first time and you just see things walking around.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit, that thing is going to beat my ass when I got to walk over that way. Yeah. Oh, and I can't even go that way because that other thing is over there, too. Like, I've not been terrified of moving.
Yeah.
Just because you have to go somewhere to, like, start your journey than this game. This game's dope.
I found went into an area last night, got into the area, turned the corner, saw something, and realized I had a new phobia of something that I didn't realize I had a phobia of until I saw it. And I was like, oh, we're just never going to do this area. Like, I'm just not going to be able to progress through this. It's unfortunate, guys. There's a wall and I just can't step forward. And so I just fucking left. And I don't know if I'm going to go back to that area. And it's not spiders, Chad. It has nothing to do with spiders whatsoever. But that's the weird thing, JP. Dude. Like, I don't want to. I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm actually getting like nervous. Like, I'm having anxiety about this spot. I know Yeah, I know I have to go to it. It's completely optional from what I understand. But I'm still just like, God damn it, man. Like, fuck.
Really quickly, on that note, do you remember in Ghostbusters when they went to the top of the building and they were like, "Yo, think of the thing that is the most scariest thing in your mind," and that was the thing that killed them.
Yeah.
Was like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That like this is what this game is.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like everything that you can think of that is, benign and potentially mundane and doesn't really. You will see some weird version of it that you're like, nah, fuck that. I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
I'm getting away from all of that stuff. Get away from me with all of those things. And it does it all the time.
Yeah.
Which is so good. So good.
It's remarkable environmental design and just like art direction to see the abominations that they have made. And I've only seen what feels like a very small percentage of it, which is even wilder to say. Dan, for you, what type of class are you playing and how's it going?
I started as the Confessor, which is a mix of melee and faith spells.
Okay.
Is that the one with the...
With a neck?
Yeah, you start with like a cape, you're like a cloaked cape. You start with like a sword and you have like this cool black cape on.
Oh, okay. It's not the guy with the
Another
thing
one
around
with
the
the
neck.
wheel around the neck.
No, I think that's a different
Okay.
class.
Okay.
But yeah, it's so like in the previous games, miracles was what the equivalent of incantations or miracles from Dark Souls. They were cool. They were mostly kind of boring. Like maybe the lightning bolts was kind of cool in the previous games, but in this game, holy crap, there are some really cool faith abilities that
I know.
you
I'm
discover
jealous. I
and
find
come
so many of
across.
them.
Like, woo,
Yeah.
they like really spice up the that type of playstyle, which was always kind of a little bit boring, mostly heals, mostly defensive stuff. But now they got some really cool things that like you just randomly come across them. You're like, holy crap, there's a whole nother section of things to uncover with all the miracles that are out there. I mean, the incantations.
They if you consider spells in terms of the type of spells that exist to be a spoiler, stop listening. They put in strength spells in this game, like an entire line of strength based spells. And as someone that primarily goes strength focused, that's fucking great. I just love that I can like use a heal or, have some sort of like buff to myself because I'm strength focused. And let alone the idea of finding that was remarkable. Looking on the map when that happened was like the entire experience of this situation of finding these strength based spells was incredible. Which is probably also why it's such a high point for me. But it definitely calmed my concerns of like, all I'm finding is fucking made shit. Just nonstop. Like, I don't understand.
God damn, dude.
I don't understand these people on Twitter named Ezekiel III complaining they don't find made shit. Because that's all I fucking found.
But that's what I learned. That's that in that process, in talking and in playing and in all this, that what I learned is if you're not seeing what you want to see, or you're come up against a wall that like a skill wall or a level wall or whatever, just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's what I Dark Souls didn't, like, the Souls games didn't teach you that. It's like you could go one of a couple of ways, but you still have to go like to the same end place. So you have to do these things in an order.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it took me a while to figure that out. Like, I don't like this place. I'm going somewhere else. And then you go somewhere else and you're like, this is where all my shit is.
Yeah. Well, and the remarkable thing is, it's not just like, you mentioned old Dark Souls. When you say you want to go somewhere else, it's not like, instead of taking a left, I'm going to take a right. It's like, I'm going to go to a completely different continent, basically, and see what's there. And I think that's like, people talk about the game, and I've watched a handful of streams and watched a bunch of people that are brand new to the Dark Souls experience, as it were. And they're in the first area and like they find the dragon, right? You find the dragon that was in the closed beta test, or you'll find some stuff on a beach, like an abomination on the beach that's really cool. And I'm sitting there like, guys, this is like the most basic shit in this game. This is like, you're like level 0. I've seen level 2. And it's fucking crazy. I can't even comprehend how insane this shit is.
some people spend so much time just focused on the horse friend that's right outside the tutorial,
Right.
and
Right.
they get so incredibly enraged because they can't defeat it. Like it's like there's so much out there. Just go and level up and come back.
I saw
Like,
a Twitter thread where people were talking about that thing, and I had to restrain myself from not just breaking those. I wanted to be Aloy for a split second
Mm-hmm.
and be like, guys, that
Mhm.
horse thing is shit. Don't worry about that thing, because where I'm at, that's not a thing. Like I'm trying so hard not to spoil it. If you've been where
It's so hard.
the area where I've been in the far north, because like that horse shit is nothing,
Yeah.
right? Like it, and people are so fixated, and I really wonder in terms of like the I guess general population, the people that don't stream games for a living. I wonder if they will
Sure.
even ever see this shit that I'm talking about. Because I've put 30 hours into the game so far, and I'm maybe I've killed one major boss. For people that have played the game that understand what that means, I feel like I haven't seen anything in the game ultimately, probably 20-30% of the way through. And I really wonder like how many of these people are going to see the shit that I've seen. Because it takes so much time
Probably
to
not.
get there. You have to really put in
probably
the
not.
hours. And they probably won't. You're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of those things that I was kind of frustrated with you seeing some of the commentary where I saw folks be like, I went into this room, got beat up 4 times, and then deleted the game. And I was like, man, like, you're just like missing so much goodness in there. Like, yes, it is a hard game. Like, yes, it is a game that has some unforgiving bits, but like that one dude on the horse, I literally, again, I've been playing for probably around 30 hours. I just finally beat him last night.
Yeah.
Like went back over there and was like, oh, I think I'm leveled up enough to beat his ass. Like, let me go try. And he still mopped me up 2 times before I was able to beat him.
Yeah.
And it was great because it has that moment where you're just like, all right, if I just give it a little bit more patience with not only the systems and myself, and give, because my thing with Bloodborne all the time when people were like, Bloodborne is really hard and I hate it. My thing was like, these kinds of games are always teaching you something. They're always telling you exactly how you should play it if you listen to what it's telling you to do.
Yeah.
This game feels different in the fact that you are more open to do so many different versions of taking on a fight with summons and spells, incantations and weapons, that it just feels like you have way more opportunities to be, a formidable fighter and in certain different layers than you will ever be able to do in some of the previous games. I don't feel pigeonholed at all
Yeah.
by the skills or the class that I've built in this game.
I would agree.
in this game, like you discover stuff, and you're like, my God, my next character, I got to use this spell or this weapon. I'm gonna make a new character.
That's happened
just
4
for
times.
this.
I watch people play and I'm like, well, I want to make a dex character. That guy, what the fuck? That's so broken.
What was that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's happening nonstop.
So many, like you see this, like you pick up this really cool thing that is not for your class, and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess I'll just put it in storage, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll use it someday.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
That's
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's all my mage gear, dude. I had this.
Finally last night found like a top, like what I think is a top tier piece of mage equipment, and
Okay.
it's something like, and you said on Twitter about like, I just gotta go level up my strength.
Yeah. Here's
Right.
the
Same
thing.
thing. I'm like, now I just gotta go level up my int
What?
so I can use my new fucking thing, dude.
What
Mm-hmm.
so I had this revelation last night. I had a lot of revelations playing this game because it's so massive, but I had this revelation last night when I was just walking around and I was thinking about the game after I turned the stream off, which it really sucks. As a streamer, when you play this game for 10 hours, you're like, guys, I need to go like do basic human functions. Okay. And then you go do the basic human functions. You eat, you pay attention to your dog, whatever. 30 minutes later, you're like, well, I could just start the stream again. Like, I'm going to be up. Like, I might as well just play. So that's been me this entire week, is like, fuck, I shouldn't have ended the stream. And so that's happened a lot. But the revelation was This is like the truest form of a D&D game that I've ever played without saying it's a D&D game. Because Zeke, I promise you, whatever you found, again, it's the most basic shit. It's like finding a broadsword when there's like the holy sword of God himself somewhere out in the lands. But a broadsword's really strong in the beginning of the game, and in general, it's a game. But they start adding like the D&D equivalent of magical items later in the game. And I wouldn't even say I'm late in the game. I've just been in some of these zones, which I consider to be late in the game, and found this shit. And I'm like, well, this is game breaking. Like, it's so much better than everything else that I've seen thus far. And I don't understand how they like have made a game that all encompassing and that big. And it's like one of the, I've thought a lot about how big the game is and finally been able to put my head around it. And it's, I don't get how they developed that game in the amount of time they did. It's got like 82 bosses in it. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Oh, man, I just like the thing that I'm starting to recognize and feel like deep down in my soul. We were talking about Vegas earlier. I'm a gambler. I love gambling. And I don't get the opportunity to do it much anymore. But when you find an area and you're like, I know there's something at the end of this rainbow here. I'm gonna go through this. And you're just like, dipping, ducking, dodging, killing, diving, like all this shit, and you're just trying to like over it and over and over again. And you get to the end, and you're like, come on, mage gear, come on, mage gear, come on, mage gear, dex build, fuck! But you would think you'd feel like that. But I don't, because I'm like,
there's
whatever it is not going to feel as good as getting here did.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a rare game that feels like Dark Souls. I mean, is Dark Souls in all the ways that we know it, but also feels like it has that pull of a Borderlands game where you're
with
like, ooh, like I know if I go somewhere and just mess around with stuff, or like, oh, let me hit one of those little rolling ball things that will give you an art, or oh, like you said, like, let me randomly find this wild dungeon that was in the back of some other building and that I needed a key for, and you just wind up rolling it, and you're just like, what? Like, there is and then it's like the fact that it's broad is nuts, but like it feels like the river of slime, where it's like everything is on top of this building that is like 70 feet tall, right? It's like huge building that has like multiple layers and stuff. And you're just like, how did they figure this out? And it's all interconnected, which is the wildest thing.
Man. Yeah, like to think about the idea, that's a great point that I haven't even considered, that the world is all one giant level, essentially. Yeah. And it's all connected. And to know how big that world is now with all the maps that I've just ran around and discovered, like, that's absolutely fucking wild. That's crazy to me that they have pulled that off, that it's all connected. That was another thing that I did yesterday on stream, was I found out, slight spoilers around the map. If you've been in an area, but you haven't found the map to show what that area is, if you pull up your map, there's an icon that shows you where the map is. And so I just went around and collected all the maps yesterday. And it started, the way that the map grows in this game is fantastic, because it starts out and the area is like that big. Then you get like a side chunk, and then goes like that. And now it's at the point where I'm having to scroll the fuck around on a giant map with like, I don't know, 9 zones in it or some shit. And I still haven't found them all. I know they don't exist.
I don't know if anybody else out there was like me regarding the map. Didn't know there was another zoom out. So I'm sitting there like, sitting there just like taking the thing I'm like, fuck, do I gotta do this every time if I want to go to that place?
And then,
fuck, I gotta do it again. And then I accidentally hit it and went, God damn it.
Here's a crazy thing. There's also a second map. Like, an entire thing is just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. There's a second map. Great. Cool. That's just more crazy shit to explore.
What about second map?
Yeah. And that map's just as big as the other one in a lot of ways. And that's where the game starts to break your mind as you start to like see more of that stuff. And it's
my
just
God.
like it keeps rolling and rolling and rolling and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I
I love the way they changed a lot of things to have they can keep uncapping the top level by the smithing stones are labeled like 1, 2,
Yes.
3 instead of just like a
Mm.
specific name. So that way, if they want to add an expansion pack, add more levels, add a new continent with the higher level cap, they can just keep expanding on top of it, so your character can keep growing without feeling like it's overpowered at any point. Like Dark Souls, like you'd always get to the point where you're like a god,
Yeah.
and you have to like die and reset. But like no matter how powerful I get, I still feel like everything's a challenge that I'm coming across.
Well,
You never feel that god complex.
that's the fun part about the game, I think, as well as I'm cruising around with 30 hours on a character. If I'm in the starting area and I'm on a horse and a motherfucker has a torch at the end of his spear, that guy can kill me very quickly if I run towards him on a horse. Like, I'm still gonna die to like some random scrub in the middle of a field, while being this godlike entity almost in this world. And I absolutely love that feeling of death existing everywhere. You're not just like walking back through an area and like one-shotting random creeps. Like you still can die.
At a random like low level, just because I wasn't paying attention and got overrun, and that motherfucker backstabbed me with the whole animation and everything too, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like I hadn't seen that before. I was like, are you serious?
Oh, dude.
And I felt like such a scrub because I was like, how dare you do that to me?
Man,
This is my story. I'm supposed to be the winner.
You can't do cool animations, asshole. That's my thing.
I walked in.
What the fuck?
I walked into a room last night. Nothing's in front of me. All of a sudden, I get backstabbed.
Mm-hmm.
There's fucking invisible motherfuckers. It just like exists. Like,
Oh no.
Oh, fuck that.
and it's like a mechanic in the game. I'm like, how you're supposed to see them, but like shit like that exists, and that's terrifying. As
They really, really take advantage of the trope and kernel of truth to the fact that gamers don't look up.
oh yeah, 100%.
Really fuck you with that shit.
Yeah,
They teach you
so,
like, oh, you gonna learn today.
yeah.
it's so easy to miss things too. Like there was a ruin. I thought I looked in every corner. I was like, "There's no secret passage. There's nothing here." Then I went up later on. I was up on a cliff and I looked down and I was like, "There's a door in there that you have to jump on pillars to get inside of it to see what's." I was like, I wonder how many of these areas there's like stuff hidden because of the new jump mechanic. You can just jump up on stuff that they've hidden in places that people just haven't found yet.
They are incredibly honed and smart at the craft of level design. For one, everyone walks around that's a veteran of the Soul series, hitting every fucking wall.
Oh my god, I've hit thousands of walls. Haven't found a damn door yet. I am
Here's
losing
the
my
fucked up part, man. I felt like they purposefully left that out for the first 25 hours of the game.
Yep.
Because now they're everywhere. It's like
I played for 3 hours with the online function enabled.
Yeah,
and I shut it.
They troll the fuck out of you, but they help.
That's
a
what
lot.
I'm saying. Fuck all y'all.
They help. I love them because they're all fun. Like anytime a character's dead or something, it's like try finger butt hold. Like that makes me laugh every time that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Or
speaking of that, go to my Twitter. I have a tweet out. Send me your funny message memes. I want to see them all. I love them.
There's ones where anytime you enter a castle, it's like Fort Knight, which I think is fucking just stupid.
Yeah.
Every wall is like a illusionary wall type deal. That happens nonstop. And then the fucked up thing is they don't even mark the real illusionary walls. There's no like they didn't put the signs in front of the actual illusionary walls.
Now hold on a second. Now I'm
it's crazy.
I'm thinking you're trolling me right now. Like,
I'm not trolling you.
There's actual walls out there.
No, there is actually walls out there.
God damn you.
There is an entire dungeon that you walk in and it's just a room. And you have to figure out, oh, okay, well, what the fuck is this?
How long did it take you to 100% Elden Ring? Oh, about 130 hours. 20 of which were just banging on walls.
I'm walking around every fucking wall and hitting every wall.
That one dungeon, I'll probably never see that shit because the room is so big. The game is so big. I want to find it now. Like that's the thing. I'm like, I want to know where it is.
Well, there's a clip of me yesterday because I never had found a wall. I hit a wall and I looked down because my dog's barking. I'm trying to figure out what that is, and my character turned around by default, and then all of a sudden I get backstabbed. And I'm like, Chet, where the fuck did that guy come? I was in a room alone. They're like, dude, you hit an illusionary wall behind you. There was actually a wall. I wasn't even paying attention to the goddamn stream or the game when it happened. And they even do shit like there's illusionary walls that are on the ground. So you have to down attack. Or there's stuff up above you where you have to up attack. And so they've gone that level of stuff, which is wild. So yeah, it's insane how big this game is, and all that stuff. Because one of you guys was mentioning like it's a random door on the side of a cliff face that has no lights in front of it, and unless you're right up next to that cliff face, you'll never see that door at all. And that's like how the game exists, and so it expects you to wander around like that, which is remarkable. But that's the case. What'd you find?
Just got one. It's a great one.
Yeah.
Try fingers, but be wary of dung.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Try fingers, butthole.
There's a lot of
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm pouring a beer out for every guides writer who's making a guide for this game. My God.
Oh, I don't even understand how you could do that. To be honest, the game it's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And even now, like even uncovering the stuff that I have, I've only seen those zones, right? I haven't been in those zones for more than 20 minutes because I was just walking around and covering the map. So I don't even know. I know the lay of the land. I know what it looks like, but I don't know how many dungeons there are behind a wall or I know how many castles are there. And I know how long that first castle was, and that was the size of the entire fucking game.
Yeah, that was Demon Souls. It was like the whole game was in there.
Demon Souls exist in the first castle. It totally does. And so you get out of there and you're like, man, this is crazy. And you revisit that place because there are things you can do in it after the fact and places you can go after the fact that even open it up to be even bigger. And that's crazy to me. And the other, Zeke, you were talking about how you're waiting to play the game. The way that I know this game is big is that I can stream it and be where I'm at, and I can ask a question in chat and no one knows the fucking answer. And it's like day 4, right? Like no one knows how to do X thing that I'm trying to accomplish or if it's possible. And that just speaks like if a Twitch chat can't figure it out that fast, that game's big. That's a massive thing. And I've been enjoying that for sure. I will say though, on the first day, I was definitely getting backseated and the game wasn't even out yet. That was pretty remarkable. That was like a quintessential Dark Souls experience that I just had to laugh at. It didn't even upset me. It's like, it game doesn't come out for like another 6 hours. You motherfuckers already telling me to go do X, Y, and Z.
Sir, you've never played the game. What are you talking about?
It's like, you're not.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Guys, I had to deal with that. I had to deal with that when we put out reviews.
Oh yeah.
And I had so many people in my mentions being like, well, that's not the way that thing works. I was like, you don't even know. Yeah. There's no way you could know.
I couldn't imagine
at
doing
all.
That. You guys are braver than I am with the review stuff. That it's got to be a nightmare for sure.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I get that. What else is there that I can say without spoiling?
I just wanted to mention this real quick. And I've seen this a couple times from a couple different places. But when you talk about like you don't want to get spoiled, you don't want spoilers, you don't want that kind of stuff. And it's been said a couple times, like how do you spoil a FromSoft game like this? And I just want to address that real quick because it pisses me off because it's not the story that
Yeah.
I'm as much worried about as the joy of discovery. It has nothing to do with spoiling the story. It has everything to do with spoiling the fact that when I find something that I turn a corner and I spy something and I go and I find it on my own. Oh man, that feeling is just the feeling of wonder. It's so rare these days that you get that feeling of wonder and that feeling of discovery, and the joy that comes with it and stuff.
And
that's
all
what you can spoil.
That's all this game is in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
It is exploration into the unknown and being rewarded for it 99% of the time. Sometimes the game just says, fuck you, we're here to troll you as well. Like they are fully aware of what they're doing. But a lot of times it's like a fake out. It's like a fake troll, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, you got to this place and there's nothing here. Unless, and then, that happens a lot.
And my God, the mounted combat and horse exploration is super fun.
It's great.
I thought it would make the game easy or too like casual, but no, even on mounted combat, you can still get your ass handed to you. It is you can even fight some open world things on the mount and it can change the battle entirely. But they have moves that counter the horse on purpose.
Yeah. They straight up have encounters that are for horses, right? Like they're for that style of combat, which has been a lot of fun to learn. Because I don't know, as I'm using strength stuff, like Zeke is a caster. Can you cast magic on a horse?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
But it's tricky.
Yeah. I started to say that's a much bigger area.
Certain spells will home in and stuff, but if you're not facing the right way, if you're not facing the enemy, it'll fucking shoot way off, wide right, wide left. Like I found that out in a hurry. I'm running away and I'm like, pew, pew.
Like you can't like Harry Potter.
I turn around and then I'm like, oh, okay, so that does matter. Oh shit, okay.
Gotcha. And then has anyone done like bow combat? Kahlief, I think the samurai starts with the bow, right? Like how's that going?
Yeah. Bow stuff feels good. I mean, I like the fact that they've done just the really, and I don't know if this was in previous games, but because you can carry multiple arrows at the same time.
Yeah.
Hitting your bumper and different stuff there. But even the I forget what you call them, but I think they're called arts, basically, that are
the weapon art stuff,
attached to weapon art stuff. The weapon art stuff for the bow actually was really, really dope to be able to snag something for that the other day. And that changed the way I played with bow combat because it made my bow hit super hard.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't recognize it because it was like the animation just felt not exaggerated enough to feel like I was doing something different until I paid attention, and it's like really pulling back super hard. Like you hunch back and then you pull the bow back and you're just like, yo, I'm about to beat this dragon's ass. And it feels great. It's so good. Like those small things just feel
arts like that for a bow. I've just been using a bow
stuff for your shield.
Guys. Yeah, I've gotten the shield.
Yeah, this stuff for your shield and stuff. And I was like, what? Like what? Oh my God. Yeah, it's so good.
Weapon arts thus far have been very underwhelming for a mage. Like as you might have,
I haven't seen.
I've gotten a couple that are like you've seen them in previous games. They give you that like a sword that you
I've seen that
chop or whatever, and it's so slow. It's just not. It's not even viable when you have you can cast spells pretty fast and they do more damage.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of different ones, but a lot of that stuff I don't know how it is because I don't have the stats, so I can't use it. Right, so I don't know if it's any good. When it comes to that, one of the systems we haven't discussed, and I'm curious, with two of you being vets and someone relatively, I wouldn't say new, but hasn't played every game to completion like the rest of us have, I guess is how I'll phrase it. How do you guys feel about the new form of spirit summoning? Not the NPC summoning, but the spirit summoning. Are you guys utilizing it all?
I haven't really been using it too much, other than testing out what they look like once in a while. But
yeah,
I want to make a character to try it out.
Yeah, someone brought that up in chat earlier, and I said I they're useful in boss fights sometimes as a distraction, especially for someone who's doing ranged combat. Like they'll do the melee, and I'll sit back and do the range and stuff. But in the overworld, it especially if you're on your horse, it seems like I haven't cast them enough, but
You
the
you
area
can't use them unless the
That's what
game
I'm
allows
saying.
you. Yeah.
Right.
the area in which they are usable seems like overly restrictive to me on the overworld. You
Yeah.
know?
Kahlief, are you using them at all? Just for point, I use them every boss fight. I think they're incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I use them every boss fight. I'm using them on hard mini, like, not enclosed area fights when you can use them for some stuff. I do have a favorite where they will die. The things will die and they will regenerate.
oh shit,
Which is
that's
actually really dope.
yeah.
Because you wind up playing in a really interesting way where, like, you talked about the kind of distraction part, right? Where so like because all of them have health bars, you're like watching them to make sure, like, okay, if they die here, I can get a couple of hits in, distract the boss or the monster that would kill them off, give them time to regenerate with full health. They come back, and then I still have that thing there to fight with me.
Yeah.
It's again, it's like that conversation around the approachability layer of this game and having that in it. It's a thing that at this point, like, if I'm telling someone who's starting this game for the first time, like, yeah, use that shit all the time,
Yeah.
as much as you possibly can, because it is super helpful to get you out of stuff. And because of that whole thing where you get your flasks back, that's an easy way to have that go run out, kill stuff, get your flask charges back up, and then you can, go back into the fight and not have to worry about going back to a fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I've been using the jellyfish. Self-servingly
How are they?
because its name is Aurelia, which is hilarious because my wife's name is Aurelian on the internet. And so I have Aurelia the jellyfish, and my character's name is modeled after my dog, Ollie, which is hilarious as well. And so Ollie and Aurelia are how we take down the bosses, and it's great.
Love it.
There's slightly spoilery for game systems. There's a system to level up the spirits. And not a lot of people know that because you have to go through a process to get to that system. And so I've leveled up my jellyfish to like +6 or +7. And she is just a monster. She tanked
Really?
Godric for almost the entire fight. Like she just has an
Wow.
insane amount of HP.
That's dope.
Which is fantastic. And she also can apply a dot, which is even more crazy. There are a handful of like legendary pets that I have, but I don't know what they do. I don't know if they're any stronger or like they cost so much fucking FP. They're like 120 FP to summon once. So I don't have the FP to summon them. And so I guess for like a mage character, that's what you would want to do is go for something like that, even though that's your entire mana bar. But yeah, I don't know how much stronger those are. I would imagine if they're any stronger than the fucking jellyfish, they have to be insane. Because like she's the reason that I'm crushing bosses right now, because she'll pull them with her dot, and then I just run behind the boss and backstab it, which is, I think in terms of difficulty, it definitely is lowering the difficulty of a handful of fights. I've one-shot most of the bosses that I've fought. Apart from like one or two that I've struggled with because of the jellyfish stuff. And so I think there's going to be probably the conversation or the purists that are like, oh, well, I beat Dark Souls without any summons, NPCs or, spirits. But like, I'm past that conversation now. I'm having fun. So
I've never understood why so many people care about how other people they don't know play the game. And
yeah,
beat
it's like gatekeeping
what
or
is-
something. I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
Like, what is the what do you care?
Yeah.
Like, if
it's weird.
someone if someone wants to make it a little
Is the
bit
game
easier
harder
for
at
themselves.
night? In the game?
There are things that happen at night that will not happen during the day. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like full on boss spawns in the open world will only occur at night.
Well, the freaks come out at night, or so I've heard.
Yeah.
They do.
There are, there's one boss in particular that I've probably, including the closed network test, spent 40 hours in an area at this point. Never seen him. Walking around, figured something out in the game in terms of a system. And I was like working towards that area. and I walked onto a random thing, and the boss music kicked in out of nowhere, and I was like, "Oh, there's no boss here." And then a fucking thing drops down from the sky and just fight starts because nighttime. I'm like, dude, people aren't gonna even ever see this guy. Like, the game's so big that they'll never be in this exact spot at nighttime unless they just were like I was, completely randomly. And I love that direction from a developer, that they're like willing to put that in there, and a thing that like very few people will probably ever see because the game's so fucking big. But the fact that it exists, and that sense of discovery is like so strong and so high that it's remarkable. And that's happening in so many different ways. I was talking with well, I'll leave their name out. I was talking with someone who had the game early, and they were likening it to the original Zelda for the NES back in the old days, in terms of like how the game introduces its systems. Like, oh, you need a torch to go into a cave, or that cave's going to be completely dark, right? Like in the very early game. And that type of stuff is so true. And I haven't experienced anything like that in games, because the open world recipe is you get a checklist, you do something for the first time, and they say, oh, there's 6 more of these, go do 6 more of those. You can see them on your map when you discover them. This game's like, fuck yourself, get a journal. Like, make notes yourself if you want to remember where something is. Good luck.
Yep.
Right. So like, I have a notepad file on my other PC that's just filled with things of like, hey, I couldn't do this, or I need X for this, or this merchant sells this. Go back when you have souls, like all that type of shit.
It reminds me of the original Morrowind, where I had to like keep a journal of what I needed to do because the game didn't keep track of any of that.
Yes.
They expected you to just do it yourself, discover things and figure things out on your own. We don't care.
Yeah.
Do it or don't. We don't care.
It's really like a perfect From Software answer to the open world experience, which is just like, go fuck yourself, get good. Right? Like, they don't care.
Go find a pen.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They're not like here to they're not here to hold your hand getting through the game. They just want you to experience everything, you know, in a true way, I guess, in their way, what they deem to be true. Which is very rare to see in today's open world day and age. And that's why, you know, I was talking about comparing it to Horizon. I think Horizon now, from looking back, is a worse game because I've played Elden Ring. And that's fucked. Like, that's a fucked up thing to say. That a game is worse because I've played another game. And Elden Ring's not doing anything new. It just doesn't feel like I'm going through an open world checklist. Yeah. Even though they totally are.
Horizon definitely is like the epitome of the current open world formula. Like, it's as good as that formula probably can ever get.
Yeah.
Elden Ring just does it in a way that feels fresh, because it's actually an old way of doing it, which they don't tell you stuff. You figure it out on your own. Go out and just randomly explore. We're not going to tell you or guide you very much.
And they totally copy paste stuff in Elden Ring. There are things that are copy pasted around the world. Like, it's with how big that game is, they totally do it. But for whatever reason, it doesn't, like, they hide it so well that it doesn't feel like that unless you're searching for what's copy pasted. Which is crazy. It's a great way for them to have handled that.
It feels more like D&D than almost any other game that I've ever, probably any other game that I've ever played.
Yep.
Like the role playing aspect of it, the ability to go anywhere, do anything, talk, kill anybody. Like, it's so, like, you know, up to you to go wherever you want to go, and it's so expansive, and it's so, like, every place is just so unique and so different from every other place that, like, you know, it's one of those rare games where you're just like, God, I just want to play more. I want to see it all.
Yeah.
I didn't think about this until you just said that, but one of the things that I actually really appreciate, and well, one, I hope that they put a photo mode in this game at some point, because it needs it, is because I was playing Demon Souls the other day, like getting myself ready for Elden, And the fact that there's like no world tendency stuff that I have to worry about.
Oh
or at
yeah, they
least
did
that I'm
away with
seeing.
that after
Yeah.
that
It
game.
makes me like when I'm dying, I'm just not thinking about that part. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking more about tactics and strategy than I am about things that are gonna make the world harder or less hard or that kind of stuff in that way. Unless I'm missing something.
No, I don't think there's I don't think there's a system like that. I don't know. I
Yeah.
there might be.
There's a couple of things that like analogies that run through my mind when you talked about world tendency. Like I just recently played the remake this last year. I played through the first one when it first came out, and then I played this one. It was gorgeous, beautiful, and all that stuff. But like, there's a certain amount of joy like when you can when there's no world tendencies to worry about. You just walk around the die if it happens, whatever. But it's the same kind of feeling of like I just spent all my souls leveling up. Now I don't have a care in the world. You're just like,
Yeah.
kill me.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Yep.
be my
Yep.
guest,
Yep.
motherfucker. Go ahead, do it. Oh, you killed me. I'm
Yep.
gonna come back.
Yep.
Look at that. I had 0 souls or 0 runes. Fuck you.
Well,
I love that PvP. Like people just can't randomly invade you. Like you have to like put down a marker to let people know that you want to be invaded.
So
And
is that true though? Because there is a slight spoiler. There is a way to get a PvP thing to where you can just walk into an area and put down a thing and you invade someone. And so are those people that you're invading asking to be invaded?
I think so. I haven't
think
been
so.
invaded even once so far.
Okay.
And even in the open areas
I will.
because
It's very late in the game that you get what I'm talking about. Like,
maybe later there's systems for that. But yeah, it seems like you have to like mark your world as being wanted, that you want to be invaded. Because
Okay.
there's like rewards if the person kills you and possibly your friends, and if you kill them, there's rewards as well for that. So like it's more voluntary now instead of just going in and ganking someone at
Okay.
random, unless you mark yourself as wanting that to be happening.
This might be the first game that I PvP because there is a Dark Souls 3 Ember system, which I'm not going to talk about at all what that means. But the best way to farm those is by PvPing and winning, from what I've seen.
Interesting.
And so if you want a shit ton of the Ember equivalent stuff, it's by PvPing. So I might, if I'm going to sit there and wipe on a boss a shit ton and I want to pop embers nonstop, I guess PvPing is like the best path to get that. Because the other way, like the way that I found those items in the game have been in completely obscure spots, and it's like a rare chest with a rare looking item type deal. So it makes a big deal out of the fact you're looting this. And so for them to just give that for PvP seems kind of crazy. I don't know if that's them trying to entice people to PvP more.
Someone in my chat said that you can get those items from co-op too if you work with players like
with others,
your friends. Yeah, work with others in co-op.
That's
you can
cool.
sometimes get those as well.
Okay. Interesting. That might be more fun than just straight up PvPing for me, would be helping people. So like if you help someone defeat a boss, you get, is that what they're saying?
Yeah,
Or just
like
in general?
And the way the game works now, like you can summon someone and then they will stay in your game until you defeat a boss. Then you got to resummon them. Like you can do
Got it.
very long-term summons now. Like if you want to play with your friends.
That's awesome. That's really good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Then I definitely want to explore that because the Ember
Right?
stuff is crazy. Zeke, to go back to what you were talking about, D&D.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the end game stuff. I purposely spoiled just because I wanted to see like how crazy it gets. I was watching a video yesterday where someone was hitting a boss for 2,000 damage a hit. And it was taking off that much on the HP bar of this boss. And so
What?
that to me signals it's straight up D&D. Like there is 20th level shit in this game to where you're a god fighting other god type scenario. And it's wild for me to think about what character growth looks like. Cause I'm doing, 400 a hit maybe at this point, and I'm level 52 or 53. What's going to happen between now to get to that point is kind of wild to me. I felt like I was far in the game, and I guess I'm just not at all to be able to see that type of damage.
I just feel like at some point you're gonna walk into an area, you're gonna see it'll be daytime, but then it'll just start to get really dark,
Yeah.
and then you'll just see like fingers just come down and squish you. It'll be like, it'll be like done.
I mean, dude, in the east, which I think all of us have probably been from that starting area, I wouldn't.
Sure.
It's fucking terrifying over there. I hate that place. You first wander into that place, you see that goddamn crow, and he just turns his head to you, and you're just like, I'm gonna go back. I'm going.
Yeah, nope.
I'm going back home. Fuck this like Mars looking place. Place sucks dick. I hate this place. But the game like keeps pushing you over there too, which is I haven't even explored it all in that place. Because it's like so alien looking and looks so unlike the rest of the game that I've kind of ignored it up until this point. But that might be like where I go next. I don't know.
Out of curiosity, and I don't know how to ask this. Like, I don't know if this is a mechanical thing, so I'm not sure if it's spoiler or not. But do we know if there's a soft cap, hard cap on skill level?
So I don't know. I know
Okay.
I asked someone what level they were when they finished the game, and I can tell you what level they were if you care. If that's
You go ahead.
they were 150.
Wow. Okay. Holy shit.
And I think that was just to beat the game. That wasn't to like do everything in the game. They were 150.
Sheesh.
So yeah, I don't know if there's.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
See you in 2023, kids.
Suddenly leveling up my int doesn't seem like it's that far off, you know? Like,
Yeah.
leveling up my int to use this weapon that's like way out of my league right now seems
Yeah.
like doable now.
Yeah. Like I have a couple of weapons that are like upper 40 or like low 40s for stat requirements to use them. And I think that only gets higher as the game goes on. I also don't know if you do, I don't know if you can go above +9 on a weapon when it comes to upgrading. I would assume you could because I'm only using like stone 4 or whatever to do +9. Oh, someone in chat saying +20. Okay. That's kind of crazy. I didn't realize that
Wow.
it's +20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found a thing that was +8.
Yeah, there's a bunch of already leveled up items in the game, like +8.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
+9. I don't know if there's anything higher than that. My sword's +30.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have seen that probably with how we've been talking about this game.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of shit I ain't seen yet, I'm guessing.
Oh my God. People say weapons go to +25. Fuck. Okay.
What?
I was worried about wasting mats on +3. Now I'm okay. I'm like, okay, that's not
Oh,
barely started.
Yeah,
Yeah, same.
you'll find ways to get that stuff without having to go to a mine, if that makes sense. That's another thing that's also really cool. As far as I know, there's no way to farm like in Demon Souls. You go farm a certain group of mobs because they would drop stones. I don't think that's possible in this game. I don't think mobs can drop stones. I think you have to get them from like a mine, and it's only a one-time loot. So in the early game, I went to one of the first mines near that dragon, and I tried to farm it, and I couldn't. And so I don't know if I needed to like up my luck or what. Luckily, I have a different way to get those now, so I don't have to farm that. But maybe it was just really rare because chat's saying they do drop. But yeah,
Yeah, there is a item drop chance stat you can buff. So
There is,
discover
probably
ability, right?
that.
Oh yeah, I need to do that too. Oh, see everything that we're talking about, I'm like, yeah, I need to do that too.
What's that fucking
Like I
arcane
need to
stat?
go.
arcane is luck. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that stat. Yeah, which is kind of misleading.
Okay,
Call it
okay.
arcane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the Bloodborne equivalent, right? Of like arcane
wanna
has
talk
nothing to
about
do.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, you don't have a story about leveling that stat or anything.
I fucking hate that shit.
The other thing that's cool is the drop rate for mobs seems exceedingly rare for like certain items. And so when like those items drop again, it's a D&D experience of like, oh dude, you got like a flaming sword of whatever, blah, blah, blah. I've seen stuff like that drop and people in chat are like, dude, I've been playing 80 hours. I haven't seen that item. It's like, goddamn right. I got it now.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And it's for a mage.
Yeah. No, I did.
And you're like, fuck.
I lucked out and got a shield off of a random guy in the open world. And this shield is a fucking beast. Anyone that hits it, it seems like they like do the stagger off of it. And so I'm just like, I wait for him to hit and they just stagger immediately. And I'm talking like giants hit it and they stagger, which is pretty incredible.
So good.
So yeah, I'm hoping that that picks up, that continues, I should say. What else is there to discuss?
I don't know. I think we should just let's just call it a show now in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm not
we got
gonna
5 minutes.
play Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play Elden Ring.
One annoying thing about the game, though, is
Let's
the crouch button. The crouch button where you're just dismounting, like crouching. You're like, I
had a pro tip yesterday about this. So
please.
The crouch button, for those that haven't played, is left push in. Okay? And so when you're fighting a boss, you're clenching the controller, you're going to fucking crouch every single time. I have just straight up stopped crouching. I unbound it. However, when you're mounted, it's a pain in the ass because the best way to unmount is to also push in the left stick. You can
Is there another way?
Yes. This is the pro tip. Press start and go over to the quick actions on the right-hand side and put it into, you hold down Y and press up, down, left, or bottom, and it'll you can put the mount summoning item there. And so
summoning it again will unsummon it?
Yes. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. I already have it on my quick keys.
Yeah. So you just press it again and it'll summon it. It's fucking huge. Yeah, it's in the pouch. Yeah. And so I have the lantern on left D-pad, the mount on right D-pad, and then spells on summon on top D-pad in the pouch. Like, that's a game changer.
I got the horse up, and then left down, right are my like spirit summon guys.
Yeah. But
I didn't know if you do the call again, it unsummons. Fuck, it makes sense, but I never even tried it. That's great.
Yeah.
I don't have to fucking worry about crouching.
That's the best way to get it. Yeah, just unbind crouch. Like, stealth is helpful, but it's not. What's not helpful is crouching when you're trying to run away from a fucking boss. It's the most infuriating thing in the goddamn world when you get caught because you're like, well, just walk away.
You can't see me.
Big fucking hammer coming at you, and you're like, I'm gonna hide.
Yeah.
Won't see me. Won't see me.
The other thing is when you're like, run away from a dragon, right? And you're on a horse and you're like sprinting. All of a sudden you're like, I'm no more. Oh God, I'm not mounted anymore. Then the dragon just hits you. It's the same shit. So I unbound that immediately. Yeah. So that's that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish the game. Like I said, I'm 31 hours in. This feels like 100+ hour game to me. I know there was a streamer that beat it this morning. And I think they logged like 45 in it, but they pushed main story and they also farmed like 500,000 souls or something to like push themselves above the thing, which, hey, if you want to do that, it's totally fine. There's not anything wrong with that whatsoever.
And that's brings up a good point as far as like, if you think the game's too hard, you can just farm.
Yeah.
Just farm up levels. It's tedious and boring, but like they give you, it's not like they don't give you a way to get stronger. It's, not as fun, but like there's a way out of that.
Yeah. Great farming spot for people that just started the game. Go north up on top with all the giants. You can do a circle around those giants to get 10,000 souls in like 5 minutes, and then just go respawn and run back up there and kill them. You get super overleveled doing that if you want.
I found a really cool farming spot last night that was unexpected, and they give like 1,000 each kill, and they're like, you just sneak up and backstab them, and anyone wants to know, I'll tell you like in private, but it's just something I randomly came across, and it was super cool.
I'm trying not like to over level. I'm more exploring and getting levels from that, and so from what I can tell by comparison of opening up another stream and being like, okay, let's see how much they've done. Oh, they don't have any of. Oh, okay, they don't. And so that's why I feel like I'm just higher level than most, because I'm being, I guess, thorough or running through everything with like a fine tooth comb. I don't know.
So I haven't actually been paying attention, I guess myself. But you get experience or runes for just exploring?
Well, you get runes for killing things within the shit that you're exploring in, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like,
You don't. But revealing parts of the map does not give
no.
runes. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't find those lootable like runes that you can use in your inventory.
That's
instead.
also
You
true.
just
If
run
you-
around and pick up
You
those.
see a glowing thing on the ground, run
sure.
over it with the horse and then loot. Yeah.
No, I just thought like for some reason it just smacked or it sounded like me like discovery of different places just gives you runes, and I never saw that happening. So
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that wasn't the case.
To speak to the QA, by the way, for Bandai Namco, then we'll do shout outs and wrap here. I've done a lot of breaking with the horse because you can definitely Skyrim up fucking mountains with that thing after a lot of trial and error. And they have straight up put fog walls on a shit ton of things that you're not supposed to go in from, let's say, what I guess would be the end of said dungeon. And so I've gotten like the item on the outside, but trying to get into the dungeon from that door, they just put a fog wall there. You just can't go in. You can kind of look past and see what's there, but they're like, nope, you got to go in through this the right way, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. So, it's
You have your little item, but go away.
yeah. I cannot wait to see this game in a speed run. I cannot wait to see people break this game. It's
gonna be madness.
It'll be madness
So
because like there's straight up like level warps in this game, like Mario style. And so they will 100% utilize that stuff. And I can't wait to see what they do in the beginning of the game to like rush to that, to go to another area, to get something from that area, to then go back and like fight, quote unquote, the main story. It'll be wild to see. I can't wait to see.
I didn't know that you could dodge those too. I didn't know that.
Wait, you
was
can dodge the
something I
trap?
found out.
The trap chest?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
I didn't know that.
If you back roll, it won't catch you. It's wild. I just found out
Weird.
the other day. I was like, oh shit, that's dope.
I don't
What?
want to dodge those though. I love when they just whisk me away to some random part of the map.
I had no idea you could dodge. That's awesome.
I did the first time. Like the first time, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool," and then I ended up in the fucking Matrix, and I was like, "I'm scared, and I don't want to be here anymore." But now, now that I know, like now, I'm like, I'm doing it on instinct now because I'm like, you're gonna throw me into something that I am totally not ready for yet. But that's also like a part of the great thing about the game is like you just got to figure your way out of that thing at some point.
Careful with this area because it's not an area I've seen yet or something I've seen.
Yeah.
It happens in various ways throughout the game.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
not a specific place. Yes.
But if you dodge it, can you still do it, or is it gone?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
if you reopen the chest, it'll do it again.
Got it. Okay. All right. Didn't know that. That's interesting.
Oh, quick question, mechanical.
Yeah.
Am I dreaming or am I deluded? Playing Demon Souls this past year, and then coming to this Elden Ring FromSoft game, the role seems different in that the role seems like it's not on press but on release in this game, but it was on press in the other games. Am I out of my mind? Because it seems like the role is just like a nanosecond slower than it was before.
I haven't experienced that. Chat's saying it is delayed, and that's accurate.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe you're just more finely tuned into that. I have not felt that at all. But yeah.
No, it's like I remember playing Demon Souls. It's crisp. It's like press the button, you roll. Press the button, you roll. And this, like, I was always like when I started, I was always rolling too late, like always. And I'm like, and I looked at it and I was like, it, like it's faster than the eye can see kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I think it's that. Am I out of my mind? Am I going crazy? Like it seems slower.
Yeah. Chat is saying you're right.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that.
Okay, cool. So I'm not totally bonkers. Thank you. So good. I mean, I've adapted my playstyle to it, to the on release roll rather than the on press roll.
Yeah.
But it sucked at the beginning because I'm like, I swear to God, I'm dodging this. I swear.
Mhm.
Everybody's like, yeah, you sure? You swear? You swear you're dodging? Yeah, you dodged it.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's
Controller.
Believe me. Why won't anybody believe me?
that's the life of a streamer right there. That's how that goes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, so now that I understand, Zeke, going back to your tweet about not being able to find mage gear, why you said you've not been able to find mage gear.
Mhm.
Because there's definitely what we were just talking about. I know there's one for people that play mages that I've seen people talk about. Had that happen, they went to a place, and in that place, they straight up got a game breaking spell. Like just flat out
I'm
crushes the game.
pretty sure I'm near or in that location
Okay.
because of the things I'm picking up. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, okay. All right.
Where are you? if you can you use an abstract term to tell me what you're in?
Sure. How about Magic Town?
You might be near what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. So, anyways, that's Elden Ring. I'm sure we'll be talking about a lot more. The game kind of demands, I think, that type of conversation. And also the other insane part, which we didn't mention at all, I think that ends the craziest month in games in a very long time. February is coming to a close here in about 36 hours, and it's been a wild fucking month. And it's also wild to consider that it's March soon, and we've already had this many insane games this year, with like so much more to come. Right, like God of War Ragnarok supposed to launch this year. Starfield, right? Like that's supposed to come out,
right?
whatever that
Yeah.
is.
Maybe we'll talk indies someday. Like, you know,
We might have a bunch of indie games we can play.
like Matt Damon on Jimmy Kimmel. It's like, sorry, we had to bump Matt Damon today again.
Yeah, I had it in.
We'll talk about indies next week.
You saw the head script that I said. I totally planned to talk about it.
I know, dude.
Can
It's
blab
fine. It's
about
totally
Elden
fine.
Ring nonstop.
Totally
Game's
fine.
ridiculous, but
No,
yeah.
I'm in it. I was in that conversation the whole way. So
yeah.
Oh, by the way, just point of order, point of business.
Okay.
Someone did a very thorough search. Said you asked at the start of the show, but I just had time to check. Dan has been on 6 weekly drop frames,
Nice.
5 special episodes, and 10 E3 panels. He
Damn.
was first on DF for Bethesda's E3 show in 2015.
Okay, that list did you dirty, Dan.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get 2 free prizes then.
Oh fuck, you do. That's 21 times, isn't
That's
it?
20 punches.
Shit. Tell that person that did that list to pay him. I don't have that.
You heard him, the dist.
There you go. All right, let's do some shout outs and wrap it up. Zeke, why don't you start us off? I hope all these are set
You
up
bet.
correctly. Okay, Zeke's is good.
You bet. What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching. Thank you to Kahlief and Dan for being here, being wonderful guests and engaging and fun to talk to and shit. So thank you guys for coming on the show. Thanks, JP, for being the co-host with me, Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at / Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and all the things. Tomorrow's my day off, so no stream tomorrow. But on Tuesday, I will be playing Elden. Never mind. No, I'm kidding. I'm not playing Elden Ring. I'm actually going to be. I tried to play King's Field. You know, I was like, oh, King's Field. That game aged, someone said, perfectly like milk. I tried it off stream just for a second to see if it would run, and it's terrible. But I do have games that are going to be terrible, but at least playable. This is what I'm starting on Tuesday.
Nice.
I've got Resident
Ooh.
Evil 1, 2, and 3 on PC. CD-ROM. So that's what I'll be doing on Tuesday. Checking out the old REs. Because I played the remakes, but I never played the originals. So these will be semi-new experiences for me. So hope to see you there on Tuesday. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Dan, talk to us. Do some shout outs. What's going on?
Oh, thanks for having me on Drop Frames again. It's always a good time. Lots of good conversations. A pleasure to be here. I'm Dan, variety streamer on Twitch. I'm currently playing through Elden Ring like everyone else. I'll be on a little bit later today, and I'll be exploring and looting. Again, thanks for having me on. I love coming on Drop Frames, and come back anytime you want me. Thanks, sir, again.
Fantastic. Sorry for forgetting that you're on more than 3 times.
It's no big deal.
Mr. Kahlief Adams, do some shout outs, please. Where can people check you out?
Gents, thank you so much for having me. This was everything I thought it would be and more. And I'd love to be back. And we got to get you to come on Spawn on Me and come hang out with me as well. We do our live show every Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST, twitch.tv/Spawn on Me. You can come and hang out with us while we have dope conversations for dope people. And that show goes out on Friday on all the podcast feeds you can go check out. Yeah, I'm rocking every week. We have more cool stuff coming up. I'm going to be doing a new show in March. That's going to be non-gaming related, so you'll have more stuff to check out there. You go check me out on Twitter at Kahlief Adams. And then we are doing a very special 12-episode series with the folks over at Epic Games called Something Epic. And the first episode just dropped this a couple of weeks ago. We were talking to the folks behind the Matrix Unreal Engine demo about how all that stuff came to be and how they made it look super, super cool. So again, thank you so much for having me and had a blast rocking with you in chat.
Awesome. Thank you both, Dan and Ka, for coming on. And Zeke, as always, unlike our other host who decided to get paid this week. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Elden Ring right after the show. We'll probably play until the wife gets home and then try to sneak in more hours until she looks at me off stream. It says, what the fuck? Anyways, tomorrow we got MCU Crew. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern. We watched 5 hours of Iron Fist for some reason, so we'll be talking about that. And then I'll be going into my final Lost Ark stream tomorrow for 4 hours after that. Tuesday, maybe taking the day off, and then more Elden Ring as the week progresses. Because I will probably try and whatever the, I guess not 100%, but at least do all that I want to do in that game, which seems like it's going to be a massive amount of time. So if you want to join us on that adventure, we'd love to have you on the stream. That is it for us on Drop Frames. Thanks for watching. We will be back next week to talk more games, probably more Elden Ring, and whatever else is out there in the world of video games and streaming. Have a good rest of your day. We're out of here. Bye-bye.